Thank you, Timothy. Yes, we have actually, well, quite a few people in Clubhouse, and Evan is there as well, Captain Burke. And his question is about, hmm, so that is the a decline in the technological sector in Japan. So Evan is driving at the moment, and he referred to his article on LinkedIn about the decline there, and he would like to hear your thoughts about it. So the reasons why it is happening, and so on. So if you can comment now, let's do that. If not, we can do that next week.
Okay, so Evan posted on LinkedIn a report about the decline of, actually about the mix that Japanese companies devote to internal production of software and how much they farm out to third-party providers.
Right.
And in the United States, it's pretty well divided into three sections, almost 33% for what's done in-house, what is farmed out, and what is off the shelf. And in Japan, the numbers are very, very different. And Evan's article that he referenced and he posted generated a lot of heat, a lot of action. And I think that's what, and sorry, by the way, Evan, I'm not on Santana today or Garunda to give you a hand and helping you launch that yacht. But yeah, the people are trying to figure out so many of the complexities of why Japan is still in the doldrums. How come Japan in the early 2010s, before 2020, before COVID hit, that period of time was just kind of somewhat stagnating. Whereas before there was, they came up with the Walkman, they came up with so many innovative ideas, and people are trying to figure out how Japan ended up in this situation and how they can get themselves out. So the Kishida government has also said, maybe we need to, by osmosis, learn from what they're doing in Silicon Valley. So he's come up with a plan of sending 100 people a year to Silicon Valley to live in Silicon Valley, to work in these companies, to kind of figure out how they do it there, with the dream that they're going to come back to Japan and they're going to bring some of the technologies and some of the mindset with them. But the idea is for generating Japan back up. I think, what we talked about with the chip manufacturing process in Kumamoto and also in Hokkaido, they've realized that they need to actually be in production, which Japan was famous for, and they kind of offshored it in the early 2000s, and they began to have all of their products, the high-end televisions and the white products that Japan was famous for, being produced elsewhere and imported in Japan. So you'd go to the cheap labor, you'd export the technology and the IP, they would build it there, and this has kind of come back to bite them. So they're really struggling hard to figure out what is the mix. And when they look at how the United States is spending money on the shelf or off the shelf software products, how they're hiring consultants to deal with their own particular issues and what they do in-house to try and recreate that kind of balance. Because if it works for the United States, it works for some of these high-end European countries. Maybe Japan should follow that lead, because maybe this is the source of why they've been in deadlock for the last 20 years. So I'm sure there are other people that are more deeply ingrained in that industry. And if you've got some input on that, I'd love to hear what you have to say.